Hello there Tenno, and welcome back to another Frame of Lore video. Today I wanted to go over an entity I've mentioned a few times, and who is rather relevant to both the past and present of Warframe. We'll discuss what we know of this mysterious being, and what could possibly happen with them. As always, there will be spoilers for the game ahead, so consider yourselves warned. Now, let's get into the video. So, the Man in the Wall is probably one of the most mysterious figures in the entire game. Their true purpose is still an unknown, as is what they are truly capable of, which does not bode well for us at all. What we do know is that our Tenno first came into contact with them during the Zariman 10-0 incident, and that a fellow Tenno by the name of Rel claimed that the Man in the Wall is an extremely ancient entity, older than the stars themselves, which, if this is true, maybe we really don't have any idea of what we're up against. To get a better understanding, we can go back to the time when the Man in the Wall was first encountered. This would be Albrecht Entrati's expedition into the Void. Albrecht was a renowned Orokin scientist and head of the Entrati family. He recounts that when his sea glass bell broke and he fell into the Void unprotected, he believed his experiment had failed, as he thought he was back in his lab. Though when he looked up, he saw a copy of himself. He knew something else had happened entirely. The copy was stood on a portion of his lab that had seemingly broken away from this world, and it called him Little Bengal, which was a nickname his mother had given him. As the entity extended its hand toward Albrecht, he ran for the portal to escape. When he returned, he ordered his daughter to seal the portal behind him whilst the copy was following him. The portal collapsed shut, and with it severed off some of the entity's fingers, which would later be studied by the Orokin. The entity was not seen by any other scientists, which only made Albrecht feel worse, wondering who actually escaped that day, himself or the copy. Due to this, he did not partake in continuity, which was a way the Orokin preserved their own life, just in case the copy did somehow escape. The fingers that were recovered, however, would be used to create special spacefaring ships that could travel through the void, most notably the Zariman 10-0 and the Railjax. The next encounter with the Man in the Wall would be by the Tenno after the failed Zariman jump. This would be when our operator had locked himself in a classroom along with other children to keep safe from the feral adults roaming the ship's corridors. During this time, a copy of our operator appeared to them and offered them a deal. They could accept their gift, which would protect them from the adults. Our operator accepts the deal, and it seems this is what gives us and the other children their powers over the void. Rel, who we mentioned before, was one of the children aboard the Zariman, who was cast out by his peers and left to fend for himself. Despite this, he claimed that staying with the group would be too much trouble, and that he had something to do, someone to figure out. This is believed to be the Man in the Wall. There is more to Rel than just this, however. When the other Tenno went into cryosleep, he chose instead to transfer his spirit into his Warframe Harrow, to keep the Man in the Wall from attacking the other Tenno. This succeeded for quite some time, but the strain of being stuck in this transference loop and the growing power of the Man in the Wall slowly drove him to insanity, along with some of the Red Veil who had helped him. Palladino, who was serving as Rel's only form of communication, realised that he would suffer no matter what, so they mournfully requested that the Tenno destroy Rel's vessel and finally let him rest. This passed on the burden of holding the Man in the Wall at bay to the operators who had once cast Rel out. The Man in the Wall does appear to us throughout the game as well, choosing to appear as a copy of our operator, and calls us Kiddo, which is a nickname our operator's father used to call them. It seems the Man in the Wall opts for a more familial angle when talking to people, just as it did with Albrecht, using a nickname given to him by his mother. It is unclear how the entity has this knowledge though. Albrecht states that when he went into the void, he saw his life's memories flash in his mind, and that he was unable to control them, that they came and went in a rush like smoke escaping into a vent. Albrecht also stated in his research that this entity seems to go after unique individuals. The Man in the Wall's interest seems to be in making deals, such as with the operator and even with Barrow Katir during the cross-platform play implementation. This is where Barrow tells us he met a dashing stranger who presented him with an opportunity to merge all his timelines across eternalism into a single individual, which he gladly accepted. Now, if the Man in the Wall was simply just around to give people gifts and offer deals that worked to benefit everyone, we likely wouldn't have a problem, though the entity's motives seem to be malicious in nature. We could theorise all day on who or what the man in the wall is, but what we do know is that it has had a significant impact on the Origin system and is still continuing to do so. We can also see that it is gaining in power. If Rel was correct, and the entity is in fact older than the stars, we could learn a great deal about life before the Origin from them, though I doubt they'd be willing to sit down and have a friendly chat about historic events. Though the possibilities for learning much more are there. Now, let's jump to the present. With the latest story update being the Whispers in the Walls, we get a bit more information. We learn that Albrecht fled to the year 1999, but leaves behind a recording stating that it is too late and the entity has fully gotten to him. He then urges the Tenno to meet him at the right point in time. During this quest, we fight off against the Murmur, which are forces directly tied to the man in the wall. It seems that during the New War, a big topic for another time, good old Ballas messed things up. When he tried to perform a jump to Tau, he opened portals between our reality and the Void on an unprecedented scale. This seems to have given the man in the wall more freedom when it comes to how they oppose us. It appears we'll have to wait for more updates to truly unravel the mystery of this entity and learn just how powerful they are. With what we've seen so far, there is no limits to what they're capable of, and we may just be in over our heads if we think we can stop them. Though our Tenno have overcome the odds before, and I'm sure they'll find a way to do so again. Though that is all from me for now. I hope you enjoyed this delve into one of the game's biggest mysteries. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, as it really does help out the channel. But just the fact you have watched already means a lot to me. Stay safe out there, Tenno, and I'll see you all in the next one.